Hello everybody, it's Mark Twain here. Now this is not my recording setup, it's not this cool. Today we are recording with the other James! He's over here. Zombie apocalypse. Woohoo! It's so cool. What would I do if I heard there was zombie apocalypse? How would I survive? How would I live through the zombie apocalypse?
My first question for you, what type of zombies are we dealing with? There's the viral types, there's the voodoo types, the undead that actually come out of their graves.
The most realistic case for zombie apocalypse is some sort of infection, some sort of parasite. You'd end up with zombies that are infectious, they transfer their disease, they make other things infectious, but they're not a peak human. They can't run, they shamble, their mains. One of their biggest weaknesses is that they can't really reproduce. There's only as much of them as there are people in the world. The number of zombies is always going to be finite. Once the apocalypse starts, they're not going to grow. Partially decayed and less functional than a human being, and they are going to have predatory instincts that help them survive. They have a way to hunt prey. If a predator can't survive, then it's not a threat. And deterioration, that's one important thing to think about, because obviously the host is not going to be stable forever. The host is going to break down. So these zombies are going to have a lifespan. So a legitimate strategy is trying to wait out the apocalypse. The first step to surviving the zombie apocalypse is to find a place. You want to have some place that you know it's not going to have a lot of people. If it does have a lot of people, it's easy to defend. You've got access to supplies. You've got to understand that in a zombie apocalypse, it's not going to be the zombies and the zombified animals that are going to be a threat. There's going to be people who are also trying to survive.
That is the biggest point that I tell people.
Yeah. In order to make it a safe, defensible place for you to live out, you need to get people on your side. You can't just have your one-man band trying to survive the zombie apocalypse.
No. I mean, your sanity is important too.
Yes.
Having at least one other person there is so important, and backups in case that one person dies. Or you die.
Yeah. The ability for you to respond to a zombie apocalypse is determined by when you realize that there is a point of no return. Once you are able to comprehend that there is a point where all your resources become valuable and the zombies aren't going to go away. So you have your place, you have your people, and you have your idea what you need to do.
Depending on how this video goes, I might just call Martin and ask him if I can camp with him. What is your opinion on vehicles in the apocalypse?
They're really useful right at the start, because once you've reached that point of no return, that's when you have to go into supply collection mode. That's phase 2. You're not going to give people dollars and be like, okay, now give me something in return, because that's not going to have value.
Yeah.
It's going to switch to a bartering system. Raid a Home Depot. No one's going to be raiding Home Depot, but you're going to want to raid a Home Depot. Go to a nursery or something, not like a child's nursery, but like a plant nursery.
We're talking about a plant nursery.
If you have just non-perishable food, it's going to run out eventually. You need to be able to be sustainable, and that's where having something like a garden is already very beneficial. And the next phase is going to be defending the place that you've established. Treating the zombies as animals, how are you going to keep them from attacking you? And the short answer is build a wall. You're going to need defense, and you're going to need to be able to stop them.
Usually I imagine that there would be zombified animals as well. Zoos would be a very, very dangerous place.
Yes.
The zookeepers will have left, right? The animals will eventually get hungry enough to try to escape their paddocks, and whether they do that or not, the zombies will probably get to them, or they'll eat decayed material because they're so hungry.
Material.
Yeah, infected material, and then it's all over. Now you got zombie lions roaming the streets, and zombie wolves, and zombie monkeys. That's a terrifying thought.
Those would be real life demons.
My next question was going to be about pets. I think that you need to separate yourself from all animals.
Yes.
Because if you have a guard dog and it what is it attacked with? It attacks with its mouth.
Yeah.
If it's attacking any sort of zombified creature and makes contact with its mouth, you're not going to have a guard dog for very long.
Yep.
You're going to have another enemy very quickly. As sad as it is, everybody should be getting rid of their dogs. They're really good at jumping on walls.
Cats are going to be fine. Cats will survive the apocalypse. Personal
Birds,
recommendation.
I feel like they wouldn't really go for humans. They have better prey to go for.
You have easier prey as a bird, and humans it's kind of hard for birds.
You still want to be careful. So flies get infected, spiders get infected, anything else that might eat those gets infected. Ants might be the most terrifying thing in the zombie apocalypse. The same things that we do to avoid insects in real life you could still use.
Yeah.
You'd want those stuff anyway to avoid diseases from mosquitoes and stuff, especially if you're camping.
Another thing to consider is how are you going to keep other people out? Make that wall and you're going to make it big. Dug one ditch, dig another ditch. Just keep digging ditches. And that stops cars. Like, no one can just drive a truck through the wall. Vehicles no longer have much use. Roads are going to be, like, covered in all sorts of detritus. Right now, you have your defense, you have your people, you have your place, you have a lot of supplies. You need to work on renewability and sustainability.
Yes.
And this is the next important step, to not die out in 5 years. Escape routes.
This is a question, I posed it in another one of my videos that I made. How does a zombie identify a human? Is it by sight, smell, sound, you know, all those different things?
First things first, I would immediately rule out sight. I would not expect zombies to have any sight worth notable.
It's true.
Like, your eyes are gonna rot out like that. They'll most likely already know by the time taste or touch matters. Now it's hearing and smelling. I feel like smell is going to be the most likely trait that zombies will use to hunt something.
Smelling. Animals, zombified animals, and zombies. Like, if you deal with how you smell, either by being really, really clean or really, really filthy, you'll eliminate the chance of having to run away or having to fight.
Yeah.
By, like,
You'll have some armor.
When the apocalypse is first going to start, you have to take into consideration the military. It depends on who the world leaders are, but some of them would think it's not a threat. Some of them would think, oh, we need to take care of this before it becomes a threat. So the military will come through and try to like corral everybody.
Yeah, forced quarantine.
It's probably their smartest move, but it's not your smartest move. Sorry, military, please don't like blacklist me, but your best chance is to hide when they come around to your neighborhood.
Yeah. It's better to not be in a community. It's better to be rural. It's better to be not in an area where you're likely to run into other people, because the biggest threat is not going to end up being the zombies. The biggest threat is going to end up being the people who no longer have any laws or regulations to govern them and are only driven by their own survival and possible moral code, but that's going to be a lot more flexible since all the rules are off the table.
Okay. Cell phones, or like electronic devices in general. You want, kind of like the money, you want to use that as soon as possible. Like, for me, I would immediately be contacting my closest friends and loved ones, especially if they live far away. Call, throw away your phones. Like, they're only going to be a possible hindrance to you after that. Okay, I'm going to talk about race for just a second. The more variety you have in your group, the better. I mean, obviously, you want to have males and females. I mean, genetically, for down the road, genetic diversity is a good thing. If you're all from the same similar gene pools, recessive genes will start to be passed down, including like deformities and things that will shorten their lifespan.
Yeah.
If you can help it, have a diverse group.
Super long term, this is kind of like the last phase of the plan. 20 years in, you're going to be doing library runs and getting everything again from libraries, because knowledge is important to continue, but with enough time and energy, you're going to have giant stone walls, you're going to have medieval keeps, you're going to have wooden palisades. It's going to end up looking just like a medieval society. You're going to be living off subsistence farming, crop farming.
The thing that I love talking about the zombie apocalypse is weapon choice.
Blunt weapons are going to be just fine. Like, these are going to be zombies that are going to be decayed, they're going to be broken down, they're going to be easily disposable of. Sharp weapons are good, but I would not lean to using something like a chainsaw. Like, you don't want something that you have to saw at. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want clean, swift strokes. It can be a large pole. You want something heavy. If it's sharp, it works better. It'll help break down a body easier. But blunt weapons are good too. Swords are good. Knives are good. Axes are really good. Knives are iffy.
You don't want to be close to the zombie. You want to dispatch each zombie as quick as possible, and you don't want to have to. You want a weapon that's long lasting.
Yeah.
I think those are like the three things to consider when choosing weapons. When the zombie apocalypse first starts, just grab whatever's in the room with you. Get a pair of scissors if you have to. A pen. Like, have something to start until you get something else.
And my
even a chair. Get a
swords.
chair,
Music stands. Those are apocalypse weapons. Jesse can tell you all about it. Personally, I think an axe is going to be your best friend. The sheer brute force and also the ability to use an axe as a tool is what I think makes axes generally more practical.
If you're into like the martial arts, just forget it. No zombie's gonna get choked out. None of them are gonna tap.
If you're just trying to survive, anything that can knock something back that isn't super heavy to tire you out is gonna be a lifesaver.
I mean, it's something that I know how to wield. I mean, I feel it's a stick, so like anybody can figure out how to do it. Anything that's left of the zombie that is like alive and like helping them to function will probably be up here.
You go for the head if you're trying to kill a zombie, but if you're at the point where you're not able to kill a zombie, you want to take out their legs.
Head is your first option. You know, if you can sever it from the body, or if you can just crush it in enough to get the inner workings here, or pierce up right here, the weakest point. If you can't get the head for some reason, your next best option is the legs. In the long run, I think the most ideal zombie apocalypse weapons come down to 3 things, and there's a 4th honorable mention. So the honorable mention is a bow with arrows. First of all, why the bow and arrow is great is because you're far away from the zombie.
You can reuse.
And you can reuse your ammo. They're very effective. You're quick with them, and you know how to use them, and you know how to aim. My top 3. This depends on what you're the most comfortable with, or what you have access to. Bats, or maces, bludgeoning weapons.
Bludgeons are gonna work just fine.
You take a bat, get a good swing at the zombie's head, crush it, done. Move on to the next zombie. It's not that hard to do. You don't need to be super strong to do it. A sledgehammer, honestly, probably worse to use than a bat, because it's not easy to wield. I'm not gonna say guns. I'm gonna say pistol.
Personally, I put a shotgun on there. Like
a shotgun was my 3rd thought for a gun.
Yeah.
It's
just raw power and pretty easy to get a hold of and get materials for. So if you're gonna use a gun, I'm not.
It's just the reload time. Pistol, you can do it close range or far range pretty easily. And that's in contrast to the bow and arrow. Or like the shotgun, only close range. The sniper, only far range. You only need to do 1 shot per each, and it's very, very portable, very easy to carry around. You can have 2 if you want. Most people are like, what are you talking about? A machine gun, bro? And it's like, no.
Machine gun, that's another example.
Even if you have, even if you have enough ammo for that, the worst idea ever. Spraying and praying is not what you want to do. Take a pistol, next zombie. If you're getting the machine gun, spending so much ammo, not aiming, I would have to agree with you and say swords. Light, sharp, long, not too long, quick. You have to be careful with the drinking water.
Rainwater is probably going to be your best option. Alternatively,
rainwater.
Well, dig yourself a well, get water out from the well. You're going to want to conserve water. Live in some place that's wet.
Yeah, by the way, if you haven't inferred this already from everything we've been talking about, big cities. Bad.
Yeah. Too many people, too many zombies.
Where are the zombies gonna go? Where there's people.
Yeah.
You don't want to go there. Mountains are good. I think I would choose high ground.
You got to get your people, got to get your place, and you got to get your supplies.
Weapons.
Then you have to fortify. Then you essentially have to be sustainable. Thanks for watching this video. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully this never happens. Hopefully everything that we're saying here is hypothetical, but hey, you never know.
Experts say that if you're prepared for a zombie apocalypse, you'll be prepared for any other kind of natural disaster. So there's that.
Yep.
Eat your banana pancakes.
Goodbye.
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 We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.